Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review of Little Witch Academia episode 17, and damn has this been a good week. Well, a good maybe like 3 days for anime. I thought the One Piece episode this week was good, and I gave out perfect scores for both Attack on Titan and Boku no Hero Academia, which are both doing great, by the way. If you're not caught up on them, I would say catch up and watch them. They're really good. And again, this is probably one of the best episodes that Little Witch Academia has put out. At first I was going to say, oh, it's possibly the best, but no, it's not possibly the best, because the best, no matter how good this is, no matter how perfect I thought this was as an episode, I don't think it can beat the first episode. The first episode, to me, I don't know if they can beat it. They'd have to do some big stuff and make a really great episode for me to say it was better than the first episode. Because the first episode was just such a good way to start a show. Like, it opened up the series so much, or so well, that, yeah, I'm not sure that they can beat the way they opened the series. That was a really, really good episode. But let's go ahead and talk about this one part by part, knowing already that I absolutely loved it and think it's one of the best they've made. Yeah, I mean, even in general, the past few episodes, Little Witch Academia has been on a roll with great episodes, and yeah, either way, let's talk about it part by part. We see Amanda the wife board at first. Like, okay, talking about Amanda, since I always call her waifu and stuff, Amanda's up there as one of my favorite characters. I would say she's in my top 3 or 4. It's really difficult to say where I'd put her. Favorite character for me is most certainly Ursula/Chariot. I would say second place is probably Susie. It's hard to know if I want to put Susie in second or if I want to put Akko there. And then it's also, Amanda's up there as well. Those 4 are up there where it's like, it's hard to decide which ones I would put in the top 3 between Susie, Amanda, and Akko, because I love the 3 of them so much. Yeah, I really, really like Amanda, so I like how she played a major role in this episode. We haven't seen her much. So she says that she's leaving, and Akko points out, you say that all the time. We learn more that, oh, there's a light shining up on the Colombe Soleil, and Ursula's like, it's the 5th word, it's related to history, stuff like that. We get some hints dropped, or, well, more than hints, we get it told to us, essentially, that the Cavendish family's in trouble, but I like that we left that for another day. We don't know what kind of trouble they're in yet. We find out the Holy Grail's in Appleton Academy, which is some old school that hates witches, and woot, we have an Akko and Amanda episode going to Appleton. When Amanda first transformed, I was like, oh, it's a gender bend episode. This is going to be interesting as well. We find out that it's actually Andrew's school, which adds a new layer to what's going on in the story. And boy Amanda and Mouse Akko teaming up through this episode, I think it's great, and I think it's great that Trigger does this, because it's a lot of extra work to put in. Like, if you make sort of a template of a character and that's what you're using for different animations and stuff, then it's a lot more difficult to just say, okay, we're going to have Akko look like a fish for part of this episode, or look like a rabbit for the whole, almost the whole episode, like that one episode. It's like, it's so good the way they put that work in to make the characters look different. It feels better when an episode's like that. Like, having this whole episode be around Amanda, but she's in like boy form, and Akko in mouse form. It felt different. It felt fresh, and it really made the animation stick out a little bit more, I think. So yeah, I really love the way they did that. And Mouse Akko is so freaking cute. She could be the mascot of this series. I thought Akko Fent was the cutest, but Mouse Akko might be even cuter than Akko Fent. So we see that the chairman of the school seems to be an enemy of Andrew's dad. We also find out he's the Minister of Defense, and his son is Lewis Blackwell, who's a bit of a dick, at least at first, as a lot of these characters, these archetyped characters like him, are. They're sort of the dicks that learn the error of their ways and become good dudes. So the people at the school think that all rats are familiars, and they're like, well, I guess they turned out to be right in this case. In a way, she was related to witches. But yeah, they're very paranoid about witches at this school. Andrew then covers for them, good guy Andrew, and he recognizes them, of course. I really loved the bench scene that they have. I even loved before Amanda walked away, but especially after she walked away, and it was Andrew and Akko's discussion, and I like the theme they have going, and they've sort of had going over multiple episodes, where Andrew sort of has a dream, but his dream is directly related to giving to others and doing what others want for him. But Akko's dream, it's not selfish. She's doing what she wants. It's her dream. It's not selfish. It's just, to him, it might seem that way. And it's an interesting dynamic where he's doing what other people want for the sake of other people, and that's his dream, is to do what other people want for him. But her dream is to do what she wants for herself. And it's just this really interesting dynamic they have going. So then we have a long sequence with Mouse Akko that I thought was really cute, and again, well animated. And she follows cubes that I assume are directly related to Croy, since we've seen them around her. She follows them to the Grail and takes it. Amanda calls out Lewis on his cheating, and she has no magic because Akko has the router, and that explains why the broom could fly last. They didn't mention it or anything, but I'm assuming they had one last week, and that explains why the broom could still fly. But Amanda had the wand, but Akko had the router, and that is why Amanda couldn't use magic there, and she essentially gets captured by the Witch KKK. Now, I feel like this is just another one of those things where I'm like, where have we gotten where I just think I was like, if this tried to air in America, no, they wouldn't even allow it. They would be like, no, it looks too similar. And I'm like, where have we gotten that if something looks too similar to something, we wouldn't be allowed to show it, even if it's completely unrelated to that. But yeah, that's just what made me think. I'm like, that's another cultural difference. We would not even be allowed to have this sort of imagery. Then Amanda's a complete badass when she jumps like way up into the air despite being tied to a chair, and like flips, breaks it, and takes the sort of physical edge over Lewis. Amanda's a complete badass. But there was one moment this episode that I had to pause the episode because I was laughing too hard to focus, and that's Andrew busts in the door, and it was kind of a normal scene, but just the little subtlety of he busts into the door, he looks over, and you see the sequence of him look over, and there are the guys in the background with like the pointed hoods and everything, and all the torture devices. And before he continues on with the dialogue or scene, there's just that pause where he opens the door, sees that, and just pauses for that second. And that pause made me laugh so hard. Like, what on earth is he walking into? And then, next we have a duel for Akko and the Grail, and Amanda, complete badass. The animation was incredible. The fight just kept getting cooler and cooler, and the Grail gets smashed. The cubes then come out of it and possess the armor, which possesses Lewis. The fight continues, and again, holy fuck, this fight was good between Amanda and the possessed Lewis, culminating with her getting her magic back and stabbing the helmet and apparently breaking the curse somehow through doing that. Then honestly, I think that was probably the best anime fight I've seen since One Punch Man, and that's not to say it's like one of the best of all time, because I've seen plenty better, of course, but it was really, really good, and also paired with the fact that I haven't really seen very many great anime fights in at least a year or so, with there haven't been that many big actions with great fights. Then lastly we see Croy at the end reminds me a lot of, like, Croy is like me most days, just hunched over the computer working on stuff, eating. So Croy reminded me a lot of myself there. But yeah, episode as a whole, some thoughts. The animation was absolutely amazing. I think this was one of their best animated episodes. The fight was incredible. I love the fight. The character work that was done was great. The character work for Amanda I really loved, for Akko and Andrew as well, who I didn't like Andrew the first episode he was in. Of course, you guys that have been watching the reviews probably know that, but I've really liked his character ever since the one Ball episode, I thought that was a really good episode for his character, and I've really liked him since then. He's continued to grow on me. Akko again, great. I love that she was in her mouse form for this episode. It made it feel different. And it made it feel different. It allowed the character to do different things physically that they could work into the plot. So yeah, I liked that a lot. And you could tell, like I said earlier, that to do stuff like that, a lot of work went into the episode. Also, I thought it was really good to hold off to not... Because I was imagining that the armor would have to be taken down by Akko activating the fifth word, but I'm really glad that Amanda got to take it down and that we saved that story. We got a little bit of development on the fifth word, but we didn't do it all in one single episode. It makes it feel more important, more difficult for the character to overcome, that it's taking more than an episode's worth of work to get to that. So I really like that they did it that way, and I love the way that they brought up stuff like Lewis's dad not liking Andrew's dad and disagreements in the government. They brought up especially the stuff with the Cavendish family, and that they brought that stuff up, left that stuff for us to know that it's going on, but it's not happening this episode. It's going to be happening in the future. I really, really like the way they handled that. So yeah, I guess that's my thoughts overall. Everything was amazing. Talking about the music though, I still love the opening and ending. I love the first opening and ending. And the OST, I think that for me, this is probably going to go down as one of my favorite anime OSTs just of all time. Gosh, the music is incredible. Maybe even my favorite of all time. I think it could be. The music is incredible episode to episode. Score, I'd give it 10 Mouse Akko episodes out of 10. Another perfect score because, like I said, this is one of the best in the series. I still think the first episode is going to continue to be the best in my opinion. I think I gave it like a crazy score. I think I gave it like an 11 or 12 out of 10. It's one of my few scores to actually go over the 10 out of 10 barrier. Yeah, I think this is squarely 10 out of 10 for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought of this week's episode and what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe, I guess, for more of all the things I talked about here, like Little Witch Academia, Boku no Hero Academia, Attack on Titan, and much, much more. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. That's it. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.